first ever meeting between Kentucky and Oklahoma on the soccer pitch here at John Crane Field in Norman. Just a gorgeous day for soccer. Hispanic Heritage afternoon as well for Oklahoma soccer fans. We take a look at the starting lineups for this one. First off for Oklahoma, Kaylee England making her 84th career start. That ties her for third most in Sooner history. She is likely to leave as Oklahoma's all-time leader in minutes played. And Ella Pappas has had a good run recently. She leads Oklahoma with 6 goals, all of them coming in the last 7 games. On the other side for Kentucky, their keeper Mars Josephson, 47th career start between her time at Kentucky and previously at North Carolina. 14 shutouts for her the last 2 seasons. And watch Maddie Kemp. She's a real spark plug. 31 shot attempts this year. That is 6th best in the SEC. It's her first year at Kentucky after she transferred from Gonzaga. Beautiful blue unis worn by the Wildcats, who desperately want to get a result here, Nick. And you talked to Tony Fabiano. I think that the loss to Georgia kind of lingered a little bit, but they've got to get past that, giving up a goal in the 80th minute, don't they?
Yeah, you know, when we spoke to Coach, one of the things he mentioned was it's like water on a duck. You know, you just got to go past it and then go on to the next game. And this game here is going to be a pivotal point because, like you mentioned earlier, they've only got 10 games to play. So they've got to come out of here with something. Even if it's a draw, they need to get some kind of points to help progress their season.
Troy Fabiano is in his 3rd season as head coach. 9 wins last year, the most that they have had since 2015. Made it to the SEC tournament for the first time since 2020. And Troy Fabiano has done a very good job. 8-0, best start in program history. They've got 25 newcomers on the roster. And one of the real critical things has been blending all of them. 9 transfers and 16 freshmen on the roster. Nick, you can relate being a coach yourself. Trying to get all those faces and personalities blended together is not necessarily easy.
I mean, 25 new players, that's a team right there. And so for the work that he's done in the non-conference and even going into SEC play, it's just something of extraordinary.
And Troy Fabiano and Oklahoma coach Matt Mott very familiar with one another. They were opposing coaches when Matt Mott was at Ole Miss for a couple of years. And 2nd season at Oklahoma, he said earlier this week, we cannot play in 2nd gear, have to get to 5th gear, as he felt like in their loss on the road at LSU on Thursday, they were just kind of stuck, kind of bogged down a little bit, Nick, and it's important that they come out with the 5th gear energy. He said there's really no backup plan without doing that.
You know, just the style they play when they press and just go so high aggressiveness, you can't get stuck in 2nd gear because then it just kind of leaves gaps all over the field. And so he wants them to be high aggressive from the start, and that is going to help them be more successful today.
Early goal kick here for Caroline Duffy, the Duke transfer who's been so good for Oklahoma. 41 saves for her this year. That is 2nd most in the SEC overall this season. Down into the hip pocket of Grace Philpotts. Very good player, pivotal player. Troy Fabiano and the staff would say about her. Here's Alexis Washington for Oklahoma. Likes to possess it and generate opportunities for teammates. Wildcats take it back, though. This is Catherine Truitt, redshirt freshmen, have been able to make their way into the lineup for the Wildcats this year on a regular basis. A pass intercepted by Grace Hoytink, sophomore player, and a throw-in coming here for the Wildcats. And out of the pack will come Maddie Kemp with it. Ball taken back by Leonie Weber. Running up to it, Meredith King quickly on the ball. Defended by Mia Bookhart. Wide now for Alexis Washington. King angling into the right corner. She goes down with no foul call. And it'll be a throw in for Kentucky. A little bit of contact there from Bookhart. And now we may have we're going to have an overrule here. Brandon Gardner, the referee, over for a chat. As you see, Meredith King getting up. This is a player that Matt Mott says has changed this Oklahoma team with her speed and intelligence on the back row. And they're talking things over, and it will be a Kentucky throw. What'd you think, Nick?
I think they were just discussing whether that was a throw or a goal kick. I tend to agree with the no call there. I think that was a little soft early in the game. You know, as refs, you want them to kind of build into the game. You want them to be a little bit aggressive, then you can kind of set the tone. So I think that was a good call to start out with. But I think he was more concerned with, was that a goal kick or a deep throw? Because that is two different situations you have there.
And now it will be a chance for Oklahoma from the corner with a throw in. Leonie Weber takes that one. Wildcats able to fend off that attack. That ricochets out of bounds. Tried to sweep it out was Sophie Matthijs, grad student, transfer from Portland, and she banged it off of Meredith King. Restart here for the Wildcats on the foot of Alyssa Abramson, another transfer. She's from Syracuse, spent a couple of seasons there. She was a teammate there with Oklahoma's Kobe Cummindick, who we may see later on today. Here's Washington. An Oklahoma throw in. All of the action virtually so far down on this end, but no real good looks to this point. Washington still on ball, angling toward the end, got an edge, serves it across, and the shot is off the keeper and in, off the foot of Morgan O'Connor. So Oklahoma gets the first tally of the day. I beg your pardon, that is Sophia Green. That is her 5th goal of the year and the 29th of her career. So Sophia Green registers the first tally, but it was created by that young lady right there, Alexis Washington, who now 18 assists on the year. She ties the Oklahoma program all-time record.
One of the things I really love to see is that they were giving the ball to Washington early. Whenever you look at OU's success they've had this season, it's been with Washington having really strong starts, and that was a strong start by her. She beat her girl 1v1, then it just went into a nice, easy little tap in for Green. I mean, that's the perfect kind of start you want if you're OU.
And Sophia Green is a player that Matt Mott has told us they have to have her. And 5 goals this year now, 3 have been game winners. She has just gotten better and better. Transferred in from Omaha, where she scored 28 goals in 4 seasons prior to coming to Norman this year. So 1-0 Oklahoma. Duffy will come up to take this Oklahoma free kick. That's 31 goals for Oklahoma as a team this year, 4th most in the SEC. Blasted by Duffy, headed by Weber. A little head tennis inside and a swipe attempt there by Green that goes in. Chased back out by Alexis Talinda, freshman from Pittsburgh. Able to clear it out near midfield for Kentucky. Looks like Troy Fabiano holding on to that one, waiting to hand it to Grace Hoytink.
And this is by Oklahoma number 12, Alexis Washington.
That inbounds pass was stolen by Nevaeh Johnson, and then a quick whistle and a foul call will give Kentucky a free kick. So now you're Kentucky, and Nick, you're on the road, you're down a goal. Your approach can't change, but pretty important you get an equalizer here to just kind of steady the ship.
Yeah, you know, you never want to give up a goal, but if you were going to give one up, you want it to be early, so then that way you can you still have the rest of the game to play. And, you know, if you give up a goal in the last 2 minutes, there's not enough room to try to go and get one. I mean, this goal was given up here within the first 3 minutes of the game. That allows them to say, hey, you know what, guys, calm down a little bit. We still have room to breathe. We still have, you know, 80 minutes or so to play. And so that way they can build. They can still continue to do what they need to do, and it gives them time to kind of play back into the game.
Throw in for the Wildcats, Grace Philpotts at midfield. Very pivotal player. A lot of what Troy Fabiano and the Wildcats like to do runs through that area where Philpotts plays. She takes this throw in, trying to drop it over the top toward Bookhart, but she had it taken from her by Hadley Morrell. Hoytink chases it down, serves it forward toward Bookhart. Matthijs regroups and fans it out for Philpotts. Talinda had it wrangled away from her, and it'll be an Oklahoma throw-in taken here by Meredith King. Washington, watched by Philpotts. Trying to angle through her, but Philpotts able to hold her ground and play it back to Abramson. Matthijs works it all the way across. Here comes Hoytink on the attack for the Wildcats. Has some space. Hoytink out wide for Michaela Woods. Woods serves it all the way across the goal box. Bookhart chases it down. And Washington redirects it for Oklahoma. And this is going to be kept in by the Wildcats. Had a funny bit of English on that one. And Truitt had to come up and take it. Catherine DeRosa plays it forward. Intercept, Ella Pappas trying to work it away. Hoytink takes it back for the Wildcats. And Andy Wolf and Clifton communicate and decide it's best to just send it on out of bounds. An Oklahoma goal from Sophia Green, her 5th of the year, to get them out to this 1-0 advantage. And the assist provided by Alexis Washington, tying Lauren McIver's Oklahoma career assist record of 18. DeRosa. Now Matthijs works it out wide. Philpotts. And this will be the first corner of the afternoon for the Wildcats.
And one of the things you're already starting to see here is OU kind of letting off the gas. They allowed Kentucky to kind of settle themselves a little bit, which has allowed them to get this corner. But they're just not pressing as hard because they got that early goal, kind of gave them this sense of we feel good. And so I'm going to need OU to kind of just clean it up a little bit and just kind of continue that urgency, which got them the goal.
DeRosa transferred to Kentucky after 4 years at Maryland. Served across. Beautiful header by Maddie Kemp. And it's cleared out of bounds. Oh, so close to the equalizer for the Wildcats. That was a beautiful ball sent across by Catherine DeRosa. And Kemp came barreling in to nearly tie it. But once again, Caroline Duffy. Already 2 saves on the day. She's got 43 on the season. What a difference maker she's been between the pipes for the Sooners this year, Nick.
She just does things that just make you say, wow. I mean, that was one of those plays that were just wow. I mean, that was inside of the 6. You had a headed ball. The defender was kind of just caught in no man's land, so it allowed them to have a free header. And she just saved that. I mean, that is what has been the difference for this OU defense this year, is that they have a rock wall in that back line, which allows them to be a little bit more comfortable. So she has just been already standing on her head today.
The Wildcats have to feel good about getting a good look, and it came off a set piece. They're very good in that area. Here's Hoytink racing up the right side. He was trying to work that toward Michaela Woods, but Oklahoma gains clearance. Big collision at midfield, and Sophia Green is left holding her mouth. She's still standing at midfield right now for Oklahoma. A little bit shaken after that exchange. Chased down by Alyssa Abramson. That's out off of Leonie Weber of Oklahoma. Grace Philpotts to throw it in. Senior from Fenton, Michigan. Grace Philpotts transferred to Kentucky after 3 seasons at DePaul. She was second team All SEC a season ago, which was her first year in Lexington. Duffy clears this one out to midfield, and a Kentucky throw in coming. Philpotts ripped that one in, and Nevaeh Johnson will be called for a hold as she kind of tugged the jersey of Maddie Kemp there. Free kick coming here for Kentucky. And we saw them very dangerous on their first free kick. This is a decent location for Kemp to try to serve it in. That central attacking midfielder spot. Very important for this team, isn't she?
Yeah, if I'm Kentucky, I do the same exact thing as the corner here. It caused a lot of problems here for OU, so I'm expecting this ball to get delivered right around the PK spot.
Kemp all the way back toward Duffy, who reaches up in a collision as she was run into by Alexis Talinda, but was able to hang on. I bet if that ball had popped free, we would have seen a whistle. It's a good hard tackle there by Hoytink. She took it away, but Oklahoma regroups. Long ball and a foot race for it. Won by Hoytink. And she redirects it to Maddie Kemp. Michaela Woods went down hard for Kentucky as Clifton plays this back to the keeper. And Duffy will give Kentucky a throw in. Sophie Matthijs, who transferred from Portland after 4 seasons there. This is her first year wearing the Kentucky blue. Nice intercept there by DeRosa, working it forward. Woods looking for the chance to cross it and lost it down on the end line. Pretty well defended that time by Oklahoma's Andy Wolf. You see Woods is a bit slow to get up. She scored a goal against Georgia Thursday and had a critical goal in their win over number 9 UCLA. In fact, the penalty kick goal that Michaela Woods had was the game winner. Woods is a transfer from Illinois. Boy, you look across these rosters, Nick, so many transfers all over the place. And most have been successful. Take Oklahoma. They have 8 transfers. 6 of them play regular 20-plus minutes, and the other 2 are injured and out for the year. That is a high success rate. McDowell has gone green here out of a collision. She's been down a couple of times, and they say play on.
Game's already been very physical. The refs letting a lot of things play. I think that one may have been a little bit too physical, but this is SEC soccer. You know, one of the things we talked about with both coaches about how physical teams are. And, you know, when you play the non-conference, teams may be a little bit more technical. Teams may be a little bit not as skilled. And so you're able to kind of do things that you're normally not able to do. But once you get into SEC play, you start getting into fast, physical, these kind of dogfight games, and you can already kind of tell it's already a dogfight here to start the first 10, 15 minutes.
1-0 Oklahoma on a goal by Sophia Green in the 3rd minute of this afternoon's contest. Washington and Philpotts get tangled up. Philpotts will take the Kentucky throw. Bookard, beautiful ball that's played wide, but offside call against Alexis Talinda of Kentucky. First offside either way so far today. A little over 15 minutes in. Critical to protect your home turf. We talked about that with coaches this week, but Oklahoma is in a situation where they have back-to-back home matches. And Nick, you really want to leave with, if you can, the most you can get, 6 points. But if you can register 2 outings where you gain points, that's kind of what you have to do at home in conference play.
You know, it's just tough to win on the road, just no matter what conference you're in. But if you can win your games at home, those are the ones you circle and say, okay, hey, no matter what happens, we're going to have at least half of our season at home. If we can be successful with those, then we're going to make postseason. We're going to make the conference tournament. And so that's what every coach kind of circles in. With OU having 2 big back-to-back home games, they've just got to get points out of both of these.
This one dropped up high. Unable to get there was King for Oklahoma. Bookard got a decent little strike with her left leg, and it's cleared out to Philpotts. Matthijs could not reach that one. It'll be an Oklahoma throw-in. What's your early sense of this one? Does either side have a good feel for it just yet?
Even though OU has the early goal, I think that both teams are really kind of battling, trying to decide how they want to play this game. The more Kentucky kind of gets into it, they look a little bit cleaner because they know exactly how this has been. They've been in the SEC for longer. OU is still 3 games new. And so they're trying to figure out how to play a fast, aggressive, physical style. And it's a little bit different than Big 12 play. And so I think OU has just got to continue doing what they're good at. They continue, like you mentioned earlier, they've got to get out of second gear. I think once they scored that goal, they went from fifth right back into first and second. And so if they're going to play this way, then they've got to do it consistently. And that's what Coach Matt Mott mentioned.
The old downshift, you said, from full green light to maybe a yellow caution.
They saw the caution and they were kind of like, do I go? Do I get the ticket? Do I not get the ticket? I mean, right now, Coach Matt Mott wants them to get that ticket. He wants them to be aggressive because that's what he has brought these girls in. You mentioned transfers. You know, he's brought a team in to help win and to help be successful in the SEC. He knows it. His staff knows it. They know exactly what works. And so if it doesn't work, like we mentioned when we spoke to him on Friday, it's going to be an ugly night. And so he's got to have his girls bought into this system.
King played a beautiful ball in toward Green, who just didn't get a clean head on it. And forward this one comes. Woods takes a tumble. And back it goes from Andy Wolf to Caroline Duffy. Oklahoma to reset here. Kentucky had to make some adjustments weather-wise to their practice schedule this week, raining much of the week there in Lexington, and practices were kind of shuffled around a little bit. As this ball is cleared out of bounds by Clifton, it'll be a quick throw in taken by the Wildcats. Want to wish everyone the best out there dealing with the impact of Hurricane Helene. Certainly what the Wildcats had to go through and other sports teams around the country, the South and the East. Nothing like what many people are having to deal with. Loss of lives and property. We send all of our best out to them as they continue to suffer through that difficult challenge. Phil Potts serving this one from the far post. Punched by Duffy. To the backside it comes. And Morrell of Oklahoma. That's bumped out of bounds by Bookhart. Believe we are set for our first substitution of the afternoon. It will come from the Oklahoma sideline, and it'll be Abigail McNulty. And just good to see that she is back out and full go. A scary moment 1 week ago when she had to be taken off in a collision at Texas A&M. And you see McNulty replaces Ella Pappas. Minutes were kind of limited for Abigail McNulty in Oklahoma's match on Thursday at LSU. But she's full go if needed today. She's out here ready to step up to this ball right here. Well defended though by Hoytink. Clifton intercepts for Oklahoma. Green wide for McNulty. Well played McNulty. Angling back a couple of times. Open look. Strikes deflected. Wolf got ahead on that one, but charging free is Woods. Woods bears down on the keeper and scores the equalizer. And Kentucky strikes back with Michaela Woods. Her 6th goal of the year, best season of her career so far, the 12th goal of her career. The Illinois transfer from Monroe, Ohio, has tied this game at 1 apiece in the 24th minute.
And that was just a calm, collected finish she had. A little bit of a defensive mishap there between England and Wolf, not knowing kind of what they were wanting to do. And then just the cool, calm, collected with left foot. I mean, in that situation, that's exactly what you want out of your striker there. Left-footed, cool, calm, and collected. Nothing Duffy could do.
Michaela Woods, kind of a voice. You talk to the Kentucky players and staff, as one of the loudest voices on the team and one of the loudest right feet on the team as well. She leads them with 6 goals. So now we're all back even. But I think, Nick, as you said, Kentucky, after the initial goal by Oklahoma, was more the aggressor, more dangerous. Plays like that by Woods, who knocks down Andy Wolf and nets a foul. Oklahoma takes a quick free kick. And a missed connection there leads to a Kentucky throw-in.
And OU just has to settle back into this game. I mean, they were on the front foot, and then they kind of, like we mentioned, they downshifted, they got back into second gear, and they just are now making these little silly passing errors, these little silly mistakes. If they could just continue to do what they've been successful at, continue to play OU style, then they'll be right exactly where they want to be. But you can't kind of have any of that in between, because it's going to get them in trouble.
This is Bookhart angling around Faber of Oklahoma. Nicely served across to Hoytink. Wolf clears it out to midfield. Clifton able to work it forward to Abigail McNulty for Oklahoma. Truitt comes up to meet her. McNulty drops it all the way across. Who will reach this one first? Washington takes it for the Sooners. And has it angled out of bounds. Philpotts came over to defend. And another Oklahoma substitution coming. Nevaeh Johnson is off in favor of Michelle Pack for Matt Mott and the Sooners.
Starting onto the pitch for Oklahoma, number 7, Michelle Pack.
Michelle Pack, 2 goals this season. In fact, she scored for Oklahoma a week ago today at Texas A&M. She is out there now. Morrell heads it forward, then gets knocked off of her feet. A foul coming. And just outside the 18 box, Oklahoma is going to get a good look at a free kick here. Looks like maybe a yellow card being assessed. Well, I thought I saw Brandon Gardner pull it out, Nick, but did he ever book anyone?
No, I think he was just mentioning that, hey, it's going to be on the whistle. He's going to let the goalkeeper set up her wall. To be honest, going back to that, it just looked like a coming together, nothing intentional there. I mean, you almost saw the OU player with her hand up in the air trying to block the sun. And so I think it was just more of a coming together. Nothing kind of malicious in that, but you're going to have a good spot for a free kick here.
Faber hits it for Oklahoma, top left corner, and it's in. A beautiful ball bent just inside the left post, and Oklahoma takes a 2-1 lead on Leonie Weber's 5th goal of the season.
And that's exactly what Coach Matt Mott mentioned. Weber has the most technically gifted foot on the team. And so he wants her in all of those free kick spots, those corner kicks, all of that. That's exactly what she can do. I believe that's her 2nd of the year already from around the same spot. So she's done this before, and it is so incredibly hard to lift that ball up over the wall and hit in the corner. That was just a beautifully taken free kick.
Sophia Green and Leonie Weber with the Sooner goals. Michaela Woods has scored for the Wildcats, and rolls all the way out of bounds. Oklahoma has twice had a 1-goal lead in this first half, only to see Kentucky equalize on each occasion. Kaylee England works this one back to Duffy, the keeper. Who will gain control? It will be Bookhart. Sikorsky puts the brakes on and works that one out of bounds. Oklahoma will throw it in. It's that point, Nick, where it feels like the next 10 minutes, you're kind of tired. It's the second game of the weekend for both of these teams. Got to find a little gas in the tank because there's significant momentum to be gained. Don't you feel like headed into the locker room here?
Yeah, if you can control these last 10 minutes this first half with how wild it's been, I mean, you've got 4 goals. You've got going back to a VAR review. You've had some tough fouls. I mean, you've had back and forth action. So the team that kind of controls these next 10 minutes and really kind of puts their imprint on the game, you would look, that'd be the positive momentum you would want going into halftime. So I expect it to be kind of wild here in these next 10 minutes, but I expect both teams to be getting after it to try to get a hold of this game.
Eichelbarner was trying to work one-on-one for Oklahoma, and there's a foul from behind against the Sooners' Juliet Rayo, and we're going to have our second yellow card here in the last few minutes as Rayo ran over the back of Catherine DeRosa. Both yellow cards issued to Oklahoma. One on Kaylee England, one here on Rayo. This Brandon Gardner saying, all right, let's clean it up a little bit. Things have gotten a little too physical, Nick.
I think he's already starting to tell that with how physical the first part of this game was, he probably should have called the game a little bit tighter. And so now OU has said, hey, you were letting us play like that first 10, 15 minutes, and now we can't. And so they kind of are getting a little bit unlucky. I agree with the England foul. I think that was a foul. That was a good, smart, tactical foul. But the Rayo yellow card we just see, I really don't see how that is a yellow card. I think that was just a coming together, and I think it was just a smart little bit of play. But the ref is definitely saying, hey, we've got to clean this up, got to make it a little bit more of a soccer match.
Washington surrounded, trying to get an angle against Philpotts. Briscoe serves it across the top of the 18. Here's Morrell. Washington sends it across. Swipe at it inside. Rayo out of the pack. Punches it in. What a save by Josephson. Crafty play by Rayo. Equally good keeping by Josephson. We stay tied at 2.
It's a great first touch by Eichelbarner there to drop the ball to Rayo. Rayo then with the crafty feet to kind of get it. But what a save there. Diving to your right. You know, you have to make that save. Beautiful save there. But that all comes from Washington, once again, like I mentioned, being 1v1, being able to get that. Whenever Washington can have success, have a player 1v1, and then where she can create those chances, that's when OU looks extremely dangerous. So I love the fact they didn't force the ball in. They gave it back to her. Beautiful, beautiful touch there by Rayo. Just unfortunate not to get that ball to go in the back of the net.
3 late half substitutions chase onto the field for the Wildcats. Talia Morrissey, who's a transfer from Old Dominion, is one of them. So Kentucky may be in an effort to try to close with a little extra energy. They get 3 fresh sets of legs in. Mallory Glass is also out there. And we see for the first time Abigail Stager is the 3rd Wildcat to enter here in the final 8 minutes. Oklahoma took a 1-0 lead on a Sophia Green goal. Michaela Woods tied it for Kentucky. Leonie Weber gave Oklahoma a 2-1 lead, and then Mia Bookhard tied it for Kentucky in the 26th minute. Back and forth first half, and a good one here in Norman. Quick throw-in results in Tanner Strickland going down. And we will see a Kentucky free kick here. Sophie Matthijs will take the free kick. She is a native of Folsom, California, transferred from Portland, as we said. And Alexis Washington coming out of the pack for Oklahoma. Intercepted, though, taken by Truitt. And Truitt lost that one out of bounds. And Oklahoma's going to get a breather here for Washington to close the half. And she'll be replaced by Keller Matisse. Arkansas transfer.
Under the pitch for Oklahoma, number 9.
There's Matisse.
Subbing off the pitch for Oklahoma, number 12, Alexis Washington.
Wildcats regroup in the back. Here's Truitt, just back and forth with Abramson. Really wanting to work this right side. Truitt plays it long up the right side, out of bounds. Things have kind of settled the last 3 or 4 minutes of this one. 5 minutes left in this first half. And a Kentucky throw-in coming here. Talia Morrissey will take the throw-in. Here's Phil Potts. Morrissey with an angle. Serves it across. Knocked down by Wolf. Out of bounds. A Kentucky throw-in. Morrissey. And that will be a foul call against Strickland, who tripped up Oklahoma's Michelle Pack with 4 minutes left in the first half. Oklahoma outshooting Kentucky 8-3. Let's look again at this one, Nick.
It looks just like a coming together, but if you're going to give the card to Rayo for that exact same thing, I think you just have to be a little bit of consistency there. But that's exactly what you kind of want if you're OU. Kentucky was kind of on the front foot there, and they needed that little bit of a break. But now, as you can tell, they just transition the ball, make 1 or 2 sloppy passes, and now we're straight back into Kentucky having the ball on our side. OU has just got to continue to play their style. They're kind of, I know I've mentioned this a few times, they're kind of just on the back foot, and they're allowing Kentucky to kind of play with the ball right there. That high press, that high intensity, that's what OU needs to do consistently. Find that last little bit ball, and they can now score at will like we've seen.
Nobody home on the receiving end of that through ball from Rayo. And the Wildcats start back the other way. This is Truitt banging one to no one. And an Oklahoma goal kick coming. Oklahoma has played 17 players in the first half. And 17 played by Kentucky as well. We were talking with Oklahoma coach Matt Mott about when you scout teams, you view them the way that they played on the day that they played because of energy level. Thursdays and Sundays, he said, look very different for most teams when you go to scout them, Nick.
You know, whenever you play on Sunday, then you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to kind of rest. Whenever you play on Thursday, you really just have Friday, Saturday. So you're getting an extra day to rest. And so for people who aren't, you know, coaches, those are things you have to look out on. So not only do you have to look on how good kids' grades are, how well they eat, how well they sleep, but now you've even got to think to the fact of like, oh, they've got an extra day's rest when we watch them. Maybe that's why they weren't playing the best. Maybe that's why they kind of had a little more energy on that Thursday. So that's just another layer as a coach you have to look into. And so, you know, that's where you kind of circle these 2 home games they have coming up and say, it's extremely pivotal. We have to win these games because there's 2 at home. You know, we're not having to travel. We're not having to go anywhere. It's just us for this week. Can we capitalize on that?
So you asked Matt Mott, is his team a Thursday team or a Sunday team? And he said, hopefully a Sunday team, at least this Sunday. But sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. 1 minute remaining. First half. It's been a good one. Tied at 2 between the Sooners and Wildcats. Kayla England thumps this one out of bounds. And Wolf sends this one toward the seats. Another Kentucky throw in taken by Phil Potts.
30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25.
One final chance here for Kentucky. They will get a good look on a corner kick with 15 seconds remaining in this first half. It looks like Strickland will take it, bends back the post and drops it short. And that should do it for the first half. They will get the ball over, and the referee, Brendan Gardner, says, nope, we're not going to allow that. And a frenetic first half ends with the Sooners and Cats tied at 2 in Norman.
And that was extremely smart leadership play there by Wolf. Knowing the ball had to get played before time, she just takes it, heads the ball out, and just knows that there's only 5 seconds left on the clock. That's just a senior leader seeing the game out, seeing the half out. Beautiful play right there.
Working our way for a visit here with Kentucky head coach Troy Fabiano, as he is standing by down on the field. Coach, your team fell behind a couple of times, but resiliently came back. What'd you think of the opening half?
Yeah, pretty exciting, huh? It's unfortunately we gave up a goal way too early. I give credit to the team that they battled back and found another one and gave up a second one and found a second one for ourselves. I think we just got to clean things up a little bit. We've had the possession. Got to be smart and staying with marks.
Coach, it seems like your team has kind of been out physicaling OU so far. Was that the game plan kind of going into this game?
No, that's who we are. That's who we are. We want to be physical, and it had no emphasis basically on their style or the way they play, but that's something we sort of hold our hats on.
Coach, we appreciate it. We'll let you get in there with your team.
Appreciate it.
Kentucky and Oklahoma tied at 2. We appreciate Coach Troy Fabiano spending a moment with us. It's been a good one. We'll recap an entertaining, exciting opening half from Norman when we come back on SEC Network Plus.
Listen carefully. Can you hear the rhythm in the markets? Not just in the syncopations triggered by inflation, but in the preludes leading to global elections, in the dissonance that moves the Nikkei, and the rising chorus conducted by AI. There's music in the markets, and if you want to learn to listen for it, we'll show you how.
The SEC and SEC Network thank our official corporate sponsors for their continued support of our student athletes during every championship season.
In the SEC, every Saturday is a celebration. Every game, a spectacle. And it always feels like home. This is the SEC on ABC, and this is how it's done.
2-2 is our score as we welcome you back to John Crane Field in Norman. Alongside Nick McMillan, I'm Chad McKee. Very entertaining opening half. Oklahoma had a 1-goal lead on 2 different occasions, but Kentucky able to gain an equalizer on both occasions. And so we are tied at 2 apiece. And we take a look at this scoring recap as Oklahoma got on the board first here. Sophia Green and Alexis Washington able to play this ball right into the middle of the box, Nick.
Yeah, and whenever Washington can kind of get 1v1 like that, like we mentioned, that's just where she has a lot of success.
And then Michaela Woods on a breakaway, her 6th goal of the year for Kentucky, the 10th of her career. We were tied at 1 apiece. Then Leonie Weber with her 5th goal of the season, 17th of her career. Before the Wildcats got this equalizer, came off the head of Mia Bookhart, but what a ball in by Alexis Talenda for Kentucky. 2 apiece is our score. Had a couple of yellow cards assessed in that half as well. We'll be back to take a look at some of the halftime statistics when we come back to John Crane Field in Norman in just a moment.
huddle.
Into good positions. I mean, I can probably remember in that first half, there was only about 2 or 3 times where you saw her be in a 1v1 situation where she can kind of go and challenge people. And so if I'm Matt Mott, I want to try to put her in those situations where they can be successful on both wings. You saw Nugent on one side. If they can just kind of continue doing that, then you're going to start seeing more corners and more of what the Sooners are good at.
Alexis Washington did in the first half net her 18th career assist, tying Oklahoma's program record. So we are set to go, and day is getting warmer and warmer, going to rise up into the mid-upper 80s before it's all over with. 1 half to go, and we are basically where we started. All even between the Sooners and Wildcats in the first ever meeting between these two programs. Bear in mind, 2 yellow cards were assessed in the first half. Both of them on the Oklahoma side. Kaylee England was issued a yellow card. So you have to avoid that second yellow card. Also had Juliet Rayo was handed one by our referee Brandon Gardner. Throw in for Kentucky to start things. Grace Philpotts back there. Veteran presence, the DePaul transfer, who's in her second season at Kentucky. We're in number 24 in the blue, but very critical on that back row. Took that throw in a moment ago. Here's Washington for Oklahoma. Watched by Philpotts. Washington trying to angle through her, but good job defending there by Philpotts. And a goal kick to start the half. Good saves in the first half as well by Mars Josephson. She got one off the foot of Juliet Rayo that is one you keep on the highlight reel for the end of the season.
I mean, saves from both keepers, really. You had Duffy making an incredible save from the header in the corner, and then you had Josephson making that saves off Rayo. I mean, just 2 incredible goal-saving saves. And so keepers have been playing well. I mean, this is going to be an exciting second half.
So a long ball sent in by Washington, trying to find Leonie Weber on the receiving end, but alert keeping there. Josephson out to take it for Kentucky. Forward it comes toward Woods, and she gets dumped by Kaylee England. Woods is still down. Remember, England picked up a yellow card in the first half. So as you said, she'll have to be careful as they work on the right leg of Michaela Woods. The trainer is James Stock for Kentucky. Started to come out, but then went back. Let's look again.
It's going to be a battle that's going to be very prominent here in the second half. I just expect England not to be able to be as physical as she wants to. The ref's probably going to let her have that first one, but the next one, she's really got to just keep her hands to herself and just really battle in a proper way and to make sure she wins every ball first.
Philpotts sends it all the way in and all the way wide it goes. Nobody able to run to that one. And a goal kick coming for the Oklahoma keeper, Caroline Duffy. Duffy now 42 saves on the year. Junior Duke transfer who's been excellent. Matt Mott and staff knew they had a good one when she came in. Just didn't play very much at Duke and came to Oklahoma for more playing time, and she earned it in the spring and has backed it up with what she has done in the fall for this team. And of course with Kentucky, they knew what they had in Mars Josephson coming into the year after she posted 9 shutouts between the pipes for the Cats a season ago. Talinda circles. Hoytink advances, finds a little real estate, but Clifton cuts that one off. And Wildcats throw in. Here comes Green, who had the first goal of the afternoon. Trying to angle that one through. Morrell couldn't quite reach it. And taken by the Wildcats, Sophie Matthijs. And on the receiving end of that collision was Hadley Morrell. She is still down. These teams have been hit by injury. Oklahoma has been playing without Morgan O'Connor, who has been hit by illness. She is missing her 5th game. Sooners already have Ashley Tutis and Kiki Smith, a pair of transfers, out for the year. And Kentucky has Annalise Canada, Kennedy Chambers, Dana Dom, and Myra Schneider, who are out for the year. So that's 4. Injury bug will hit, and unfortunately has for several on these two sides. Just underway with half number 2. Linda couldn't escape Clifton, who bumps this ball out of bounds at midfield. Do you see any alignment adjustments for either team so far?
It looks like both teams have kind of went back into the way they did ending the first half. I mean, it's hard to kind of change up what went on in the first half. I mean, both teams were successful scoring 2 goals. I mean, I think the only thing that you're going to want if you're either coach is just a little more possession, a little more. There were times where they were playing, we like to call it in the coaching world, up it ball, where they would just kick the ball up and you would just really just hope someone's there. And so I think both coaches are really just saying, hey, everything we did in the first half worked, but can we just keep it a little bit more and maybe get a little bit more possession, make a few more passes, so that way we have a little more control of the game.
Andy Wolf mishit that ball. Huge collision. And down goes Nevaeh Johnson for Oklahoma in that exchange with Maddie Kemp. And Oklahoma tried to take a quick free kick. It was stolen by Bookhart. Here comes Woods. Turn in the corner. Runs into England, who takes it away, and Michaela Woods is still down. And now out jogs James Stock, the Kentucky trainer. So that's the second time this happened. Michaela Woods has been down, unfortunately. And that's kind of the tail end after the collision, which we see here. Holding her head. Could see the referee Brandon Gardner signaling to his head as James Stock is out, continuing to evaluate Michaela Woods. The Illinois transfer, spent 4 seasons with the Illini, and this is her first year with Troy Fabiano and the Wildcats. Scored 4 goals in her career at Illinois, and 5 already coming into this game, and has added her 6th of the year for the Wildcats. And good to see her up and around and headed off to the Wildcats sideline. Kentucky made the SEC tournament last season for the first time since 2020. They had a 13-match unbeaten streak, and then opened this year with the best start in program history, 8-0. But they would really like to get a good result here this weekend, on the hunt for their first SEC win of the year. Oklahoma got a huge road win in College Station against Texas A&M a week ago today for their lone conference victory so far. So we see Strickland enter the contest for the Wildcats. There's Washington. Phil Potts watches her again, angling toward the end. Worked it across, but it's dumped out by Abramson. Taken by King, funneling in toward Morrell. Morrell had it wrangled away from her by Talinda. Now Washington back to Weber. Weber got the pass away. Abramson took it away, so kind of fun exchanges there, but nothing really came of it. And this will be an Oklahoma throw in right at midfield. the other way after that throw. So an Oklahoma foul is the 5th called against the Sooners today. Wildcats have been whistled for 9. Phil Potts waits for things to settle, drives it away. Meredith King able to clear that out of bounds. Meredith King for Oklahoma back on the back row. Spent 3 years at Liberty and then last season at Ole Miss, so she knew about SEC play from that season she spent at Ole Miss last year. Now an Oklahoma Sooner. She's about ready to take this throw in, but she's been a big difference maker for Oklahoma with her speed in particular.
Just the pace she brings to the back line. That's what allows England to be so physical. It allows her to be a little bit more aggressive because she knows if she is a little bit over aggressive, then you have King on the side to kind of help clean up any trash. And so that's what's kind of made this black back line look really aggressive and be really strong the start of this year. I mean, they've logged 96% of all the minutes on defense that was back for King, England, Wolf, and Clifton. And so it's just a very solid back line you have for OU.
Bocard trying to gain an angle, but goes down in a exchange there with King. And out of bounds, it'll come. Wildcats were asking for a handball a moment ago, but referee Brandon Gardner said it was not a hand, it was a shoulder that contacted the ball. Playing it across is Kemp. Thumped away by Morrell. Back past midfield. Abramson trying to play it back deep. I think that actually went off the back of Talinda. And sent away by Clifton. Weber couldn't quite control it. And the Wildcats will just regroup, maybe work it all the way across and try to work the left side this time. Philpatz plays it long and an offside against Strickland. Second offside whistled against Kentucky today. Oklahoma hasn't been pegged for any yet. We're now going on 30 minutes without any goals, Nick, after we saw 4 in the first 25 minutes of this one.
I know. I mean, there was, at one point in time in a 5-minute span, there was 3 goals. And so we mentioned it a little bit earlier. The game's now kind of settled into its pace. Both teams have now kind of said, okay, we know it works, we know it doesn't work, and we just now have to play our style. So they've seen each other play for a half. They've been the ups, they've been the downs, and now you start to see where this tactical chess match is starting to happen, where both coaches are trying to figure out what's going to unlock both defenses.
Wildcats gain a throw in front of their bench, and we'll get a substitution. Good to see Michaela Woods back in after she had to come off about 5 minutes ago. She has returned to the Kentucky lineup.
Reentering the pitch for Kentucky, number 25.
6th goal of the season coming for her earlier today. And Strickland goes back out for now. You would imagine she'll be in again at some point. King serves this one long up the sideline. Wildcats, though, will get a throw in out of it. This is that point in a Sunday match where you're on your 2nd match in 4 days. And some of these players have not come off. They've played 60 minutes already in this one and probably played 90 minutes back on Thursday, Nick. And it does become, these athletes are in amazing condition. But even they can get worn down at this point in a weekend, can't they?
You know, for Kentucky, you've got just the fact that they were up 1-0, so they were trying to save a lead, and then you get that late goal scored, and so you know you weren't able to probably take your starters off.
That was against Georgia back on
Georgia,
Thursday,
yes,
right?
yes, I apologize. And so, you know, you had a lot of those girls playing a bulk of those minutes now coming into today. and just having to play. And so you've got to really say, hey, what's left in the tank? You know, we kind of joked with Coach Matt Mott, is there a sixth gear? And I think he was really right. You know, we're giving it everything. The girls are really laying it out there on the field, and you're showing that with the ball kind of going back and forth, and just every team, every play really battling for everything.
Kemp will take this free kick for the Cats. Circling in front of the Oklahoma goal box. That one is headed wide by Matthijs. Sophie Matthijs in her first season at Kentucky. And Oklahoma with a couple of substitutions to begin this half. Really fairly early. We see Michelle Pack on, and also Abigail McNulty. Maybe this is a spot where McNulty can make a difference for Oklahoma. 29 shots on the year. That is tied for 8th in the SEC, and that's without playing very many minutes. Morrell and Washington each get a breather for the Sooners. Bookhart runs to this one first for the Wildcats, but the Sooners gather it back. Truitt will reset it to Abramson. Now Philpotts. Well played by King to drop it back. Neither side, as you said, Nick, able to connect more than 1 or 2 passes at this point. Talinda trying to gain the edge, but it's hard to do on King with her speed. And there's King to take it away. Philpotts runs right through it. And out it goes.
You know, that's a good point, Chad. I think if the team that's going to win this game, they have to be able to kind of say, okay, let's make 2, 3, 4, 5 passes to really kind of, we call it in coaching, lull the other team to sleep. Kind of let them go. This game has been high press. This game has been aggressive. This game has been everything you want to watch out of a soccer match. But now is where you got to say, okay, hey, now we've got to keep the ball. Can we be the ones that are going to start dominating possession? So I think if there is a team that starts to do this here in this next 10 minutes, you're going to see a team have a goal just because of the style of pace this game is being played. And so if you're OU, make 2, 3, 4 passes, then release. And if you're Kentucky, can you find Woods' feet, and then can you kind of play off that, which is what's helped you be successful all day.
And just as you said, Wildcats get it into Woods, but Oklahoma surrounding her. And it's played back across midfield. The connections have come on the back end, like right here. But once these teams have gotten across midfield, it's been hard to gather 1 or 2 passes in a group. And down goes Green, slow to get up. Foul called on DeRosa.
And that right there is exactly what Coach Matt Mott wants. Every single defender there when they were pressing was marked. And so once they made the errant pass, OU was right on top of it. And so that right there is what Matt Mott will circle in the film room. He'll circle it and say, hey, this is how we have to play because it has now brought success to them.
Weber scored on a free kick earlier. This one is a little further out. Dumped out toward the corner. And will it be a corner or a goal kick? And I think that was a good call. Looked like Green bumped it off of Hoytink, but it was already over the line. And Kentucky will substitute here. They'll bring Tanner Strickland back on. Strickland has been battling a bit of an injury. She was on the All-SEC freshman team a season ago, but has kind of had a little minutes restriction, so limited somewhat this afternoon. She's back out there wearing 10 in blue. Oklahoma with An SEC win on the road at Texas A&M, a loss at home to Mississippi State, and on the road at LSU. And for Kentucky, they lost at South Carolina, a draw with Florida, and then they gave up that goal in the 80th minute against the defending SEC tournament champ Georgia back on Thursday, and that resulted in a 1-1 draw. Miscommunication by Clifton and McNulty for Oklahoma, and a run ahead for Hoytink. England drives this ball deep. Philpotts for Talinda in open space. Talinda trying to turn, but King marches right with her. Now Talinda with an angle all the way across the pipes and out of bounds. But a decent try there by Talinda. Able to gain an edge. More subs are on. Rayo for Green in the Oklahoma lineup. And Anna Sikorsky is on for Kentucky. And I think Talinda, after that run, is going to get a breather. There's Rayo, the Sooner freshman. 2 goals, both of them scored in one match this season. A brace for her against Missouri State. And a foul at midfield against Tanner Strickland. She knocked down Oklahoma's Nevaeh Johnson. Here's Ella Pappas. She has not made much of a difference for Oklahoma today. Leading goal scorer for the Sooners. She tried to drop that one into the box. And Nevaeh Johnson fouled again by Strickland.
It was about the 3rd or 4th time that Johnson's been on the receiving end of one of those tackles. So that's the kind of aggressiveness that they need from Johnson, and that's what she kind of brings to the midfield. She may not be the extremely technical one as Rayo or Pack, but she's just aggressive. She goes into every tackle, and you see that, and that's what they need going into this SEC play. They need someone who's not afraid to kind of just go in there and kind of make those crunching tackles.
First yellow assessed to the Wildcats today, handed out to Tanner Strickland. Weber dumps it right on top of the goal box. And sprinting out comes Josephson to take it. We had 4 goals, all scored in the first half. Sophia Green in the 3rd minute for Oklahoma. Michaela Woods tied it in the 20th minute for Kentucky. Oklahoma, the go-ahead goal by Leonie Weber in the 23rd minute, and then Mia Buchard tied it for Kentucky in the 26th minute. And we have played ever since without either team tallying. This will be a Kentucky throw-in deep on the Oklahoma side. Now an Oklahoma throw-in as that ball angled off of Truitt out of bounds. Another substitution looks like entering. Kylie Briscoe replacing Meredith King on the Sooner side. There is Briscoe. She got in for 16 minutes in the first half. This freshman seeing more playing time recently for the Sooners. Strickland emerges with it. Wildcats keep possession. Sent long by Truitt. Woods trying to reach it first, instead cut off by Wolf. And Kentucky will give Hoytink a breather, sending on Maddie Eastman.
The pitch for Kentucky, number 33, Maddie Eastman. Subbing off the pitch for Kentucky, number 32, Grace Hoytink.
Buchard set to take the throw in. Woods all the way across the 18 box. Headed down there by Sikorsky, but it rolls right into the lap of Caroline Duffy. Strickland able to take it, start the other way. And off that collision in the midfield area, Briscoe may be handed a yellow card, and she will be. Third yellow card handed out to a Sooner today. And let's hope that Bookhart is okay after that exchange. Steadies herself. So Bookhart appears to be all right. She scored the second tying goal today, her second of the year. Free kick time for the Cats. Headed down. England gets a foot on it for Oklahoma. And a foot race. Charging away is McNulty. Running ahead, Faber runs in front of her. Faber will reach it. One-on-one against DeRosa. And DeRosa angles her off and dumps it back to the keeper, Josephson.
I think if Weber, the smarter decision there would have been to continue to take that ball forward. You were on the press. Yes, it may have not have been on your most comfortable foot. Yes, they may have started to slowly come back. But I think what you want there is to actually attack the pressure.
McNulty sends it across just in front of the racing Ella Pappas. This one's still alive, though. Sooners, it feels like, gaining some energy offensively. But the Wildcats calmly play it in their back end. Head tennis down to the foot of DeRosa. And this will angle out of bounds. Kentucky trying to work it to Woods once again. And for Oklahoma, Hadley Morrell returns. Nevaeh Johnson to the sideline.
Subbed onto the pitch for Oklahoma, number 5, Hadley Morrell. Subbing off the pitch for Oklahoma, number 17, Nevaeh Johnson.
Oklahoma with a deep throw in. Ella Pappas races up to take it for Rayo. Pappas serves it in. Nobody really home for Oklahoma. Eastman plays it back for Kentucky. Pappas got surrounded. Nice play there by Rayo to keep it alive for Pack. Through ball intercepted by Abramson. And a counterattack for Kentucky. England with a good job to drop it to Pappas. Retaken by DeRosa. It's just that final connection both ways that has eluded both sides in this half, Nick.
Yeah, it just seems that once they get control of the ball, they just don't want to make that second, third pass. It just, they see it, but then they try to make the difficult pass. You know, sometimes in soccer, you hear coaches yell a lot, just make the simple pass, let the ball do the work. And you see here that both teams are trying to be fancy with it rather than saying, where's my easy pass? Where's my safe pass? Where's the one that I can keep possession with it? And so if one team can kind of figure that out, then they're going to be real successful this last 20 minutes.
Important SEC match for both of these teams. Oklahoma not wanting to drop one at home. Wildcats are looking for their first win in conference play. And we have been tied since Mia Bookhart scored in the 26th minute for Kentucky. Woods pushes it in, and Duffy drops on top of it. Kayla Woods very dangerous today. She scored back in the 20th minute. Duffy takes that one from her. Duffy really strong right leg. And that time Woods contacting England as she was trying to move that ball back. Troy Fabiano, do we have an offside call there, Nick? I don't think so.
It looks like
just a foul.
No, it looks like an offsides call, but
you're right.
I don't think that's where the offsides was.
I agree with you. And
I think that's what threw off England there. I mean, the play that they were going, it was around the center circle, and so now they're asking it to be about 15 yards back. And so I think England would have rather played the ball up early. But when you've got a leg like Duffy, I mean, really doesn't matter where she gets that kick from. So
she's going to get it where she wants it.
Yeah.
Clifton out of bounds off McNulty here, and Oklahoma trying to substitute. It looks like they'll work 3 players back in, 3 of their starters who have gotten good breathers here in this second half. 18.5 minutes to play. Things are getting a little testy, and that'll be a foul against Oklahoma's Abigail McNulty. So Alyssa Abramson, the Syracuse transfer in her first season at Kentucky, sends this free kick away. An angle here for Kemp. Open space now. It is Eastman with it, and Duffy able to pluck that one away. Hard charging once again came Woods toward the Sooner keeper. Duffy lets things clear. That's a miss hit for Duffy by her standards.
By her standards, yes, but OU still had a chance to win that ball. I just think all of OU was trying to expect her normal kick, and so they still almost came up with that ball. Just an unlucky foul that Wade Bear just gave up.
Clock is still rolling here, under 17 minutes as Philpotts drives it away. Good control. Down it comes to the foot of Bookhart. This will be sent out for a Kentucky throw. Oklahoma has offensive players pretty well marked. And so it comes in for Matthijs. Well defended there by Briscoe. Works it up the right sideline for the Sooners. Abramson and Faber get tied up, and a Kentucky throw in now. Now it looks like we'll have substitutions. For Oklahoma, Green, Washington, and King will return. Pappas, Faber get a breather for Oklahoma.
Number 2, Meredith King. Number 12, Alexis Washington. And number 28, Sophia Rain. Subbing off the bench for Oklahoma, number 13, Kylie Briscoe.
Wildcats very patient, working the ball back and forth before they try to initiate, but just nothing home up that left side right now.
Well, anytime you can give King a chance to get a little bit of a breather, I mean, that's just asking for trouble for the other team. She's now used to playing a full 90, so she's now used to being a little bit tired in the games. Now she's had 2 breathers in each half, and I expect her to have a bunch of energy going in this last 15.
Morrell trying to drive it forward, but Abramson takes it for the Wildcats. Woods on a throw in. Nope, she'll leave it back, and we'll have a substitution first. Maddie Eastman will exit for Kentucky, replaced by Hoytink. No scoring since the 26th minute. All the way back in the first half. We had all 4 goals in the first 26 minutes today. None since. Oklahoma out shooting Kentucky 8-4. Green able to get to it. But circling back comes Truitt for Kentucky. Both these teams are pretty gassed at this point, Nick. You can just sense it.
Yeah, and you can see that there with McNulty kind of laying off the ball, not really going to be aggressive. And it just shows to how kind of tired they're just waiting. They don't want to be the one that makes that mistake. But in that instance, you want McNulty to go up there and pressure. You want her to have a little bit of just feeling that she's going to have someone defend her. And that's where OU can be aggressive, like right there with Pack winning that ball. If you can just be aggressive to these Kentucky players, they're going to get put into bad situations. And so that's what you want to do as an OU player. The more time you give them to play, to think about what they want to do next, that's when OU gets put under trouble.
That was excellent defending by Hoytink, and a little bit of a frustration foul from McNulty. Rayo intercepts the attempted through ball. Rayo. It's a couple of defenders to pay her some attention. McNulty serving it across. Washington able to keep it in bounds for the Sooners. There's Philpott to tackle it down. Who will win this wrestling match? Here comes King. Back out to Kaylee England. Sweeping it into the 18 box. Loose. Charging out to take it is Josephson. And down goes Green on the backside. Clock stops here. And they're going to send both sides off. Is Brandon Gardner. 12:20 left in a tie ball game. As Green has been able to be helped to her feet by McNulty. And appears as though she will be okay. Sophia Green scored the first goal of this game back in the 3rd minute. Her 5th this year, 29th of her career when you combine her time at Oklahoma and Omaha. Yeah, you could just see that knee of Josephson as she was going to retrieve it.
And there was nothing malicious in that. When you are a goalkeeper, that is actually how you are taught to jump. Since you're going up looking for the ball, they teach you to put your knee up, and it kind of protects you in a sense because you are now looking at the ball. You're not looking at anything else. You're so focused on that. A lot of times goalkeepers kind of get clattered into, and that's how they actually get injured. And so they teach young goalkeepers, hey, put your knee up so it kind of helps you be a little bit more bigger in the air, so that way you're not being as challenged, I guess you can say. And so there was nothing malicious in that. That's just how you are taught to jump as a goalkeeper, and just unfortunate that Green kind of got the wrong end of that right there.
Woods in England here once again. King comes over for help. And that is out of bounds off of Woods as King tried to clear it. Oklahoma trying to substitute Ella Pappas, leading goal scorer for the Sooners. She has scored 6 goals in the last 7 games. And she is back out there. Haven't called her name very much today. We'll see if she's a factor over the final 12 minutes. McNulty is out with Pappas coming back. Telinda turned away, serves this one beautifully across, though feathers it toward Bookhard. Bookhard able to play it in off the leg of Kemp. And that goes off Kemp as Clifton just kind of waited on her to come back and then was able to knock it off of her out of bounds. .11:20 left. We were on pace for 12 goals today through the first 25 minutes.
You know, I think they call that curse of the commentator.
Could
you know,
be.
like we were on pace. We kept on saying goals, goals, goals. It's going to be exciting. And then since we mentioned it, it's just kind of been more of a tactical chess match, which that's what you get when you play soccer. That's what you get, these matches where you can get goals at will. And then you get times where both teams are really trying to battle and really trying to unlock each other's defenses. And so that's what you've kind of seen here after the goals. Both teams have settled in real nice. And now you kind of see their little pullback. That will definitely be a yellow card. But you just see both teams now slowly getting into the game.
The reaction of Sophie Matthijs after the obvious grab there. I didn't do anything. And she has issued what is the second yellow handed to a Wildcat today. Strickland drew one previously. Just kind of grabbing the wrist, arm, hand of Rayo.
And that right there was a tactical foul.
No doubt.
She knew that they were going to have numbers up, OU was, and so that's just a smart foul.
Duffy takes the free kick, angling toward the goal box. Cleared out, and an Oklahoma throw-in coming. You mentioned something a couple of moments ago that really has taken hold in the last 5 minutes. The fatigue of two games in 4 days, and nobody wanting to make a mistake. Sometimes it's hard to play your style and your pace when you're fatigued and worried about being the one who misses a clearance or passes the ball to the wrong spot.
You know, when you're a soccer player, it's so hard if you're the one that makes that mistake, just because you may not get another chance to really come back from that mistake. And so you see both teams here, rather than really trying to play the style they want, they're just saying, hey, we would rather lose it up near midfield rather than lose it in our box. And so you see both teams kind of playing a little bit timid, different than the style they would normally play, is because they don't want to be that one that gives up that goal.
This is going to be the first corner of the day for Oklahoma, a team that had drawn 84 corner kicks coming in. Alexis Washington banging that one off a Kentucky defender. And a corner coming from Leonie Weber, who scored on a free kick earlier in this match. 9.5 minutes remaining from the far post. First corner of the day, up high. Down to Alexis Washington. Pappas tries one wide right. Decent look. And that's why Oklahoma is so dangerous in these situations. Weber is so good at dropping that ball in on the backside.
And you can see how Kentucky knew that. They had every single player inside of the 18 right there. They knew that OU is really good at corners, and so they dropped everyone back, expecting something crazy like that to happen. Just unfortunate there for McNulty to kind of not have a good hit.
Oklahoma throw in. That one called off of Green for a Kentucky throw-in. I think Nevaeh Johnson got her hand stepped on. And she is slow getting back to her feet for Oklahoma and still holding her right hand. But she takes that ball back briefly. King sends this one toward Ella Pappas. Pappas trying to gain an edge, but can't on Hoytink, who's done that multiple times, and there's a foul on Pappas. Boy, Hoytink so steady back there. She is a second-year starter. And you think about it, she came in and started all 19 matches as a true freshman last year in the SEC. That's what Hoytink did. And that's how valuable she is for Troy Fabiano and the Wildcats.
I mean, as a coach, you call that a gym. I mean, that's one of those that whenever you can have a true freshman start every single game, I mean, those are ones you want to hold on to because you just don't see that enough at the top level. And so anytime you can have that, that's consistently starting, I mean, that's just a diamond, really.
You have them for 80 starts, but like what we've seen from Kaylee England today. She's making her 83rd start on the back line for Oklahoma. And they're waiting to get the attention of the referee because Sophia Green is over here with a cleat off, trying to get it back on. And now it looks like she's been able to do that. Meantime, action continues on the other side of the field. Washington splits two defenders. King drops that one into the 18 box. Taken though by Abramson. Out to Bookhard now. Philpott drives this one toward Woods. And a push against Woods will give Oklahoma a free kick with 6:35 to play. It looks like Meredith King is now down for Oklahoma. There's trainer Melanie Bean out to assist her. They're going to send them both to their respective benches. Anybody going to score here? 6.5 minutes remaining.
It's going to be a very interesting 6 minutes because both teams need to win. And so both teams are going to kind of be a little bit more aggressive here in this last 6 minutes. But like we've kind of mentioned, both teams are still going to say, hey, we don't want to be the one that gives up the mistake by doing something silly. And so I think if you're OU, you want to try to find Washington, Pappas, you want to find McNulty and get them in positions wide where they can serve balls in and maybe get a chance to have a corner. You know, they've been very successful on corners this year. And if you're Kentucky, do what you've done all day. Find Woods' feet. Let Woods kind of be the aggressor. Let her kind of run into space. Let her just touch the ball. I think in the last 10 minutes, OU's been really good about getting her away from the ball. So if you're Kentucky, get Woods on the ball and kind of play off of her. And that's what's helped both teams be successful today.
You get 1 point for a draw, 3 for a win. That is what is at stake down the home stretch. Top 12 teams will qualify for the SEC postseason championship, and King having to be helped over to the Sooners sideline. Vital piece of their back row, and we will see what her status is for the remaining 6.5 minutes. As you see, Michaela Woods, who's been a big threat for Kentucky today, scored their first goal, the equalizer to start with. 6 goals this year. And she tallied in the 20th minute. Mia Bookhard has also scored for the Wildcats. Green and Weber have the 2 Oklahoma goals. Long free kick. Weber heads it first for Oklahoma. Then headed out by Hoytink. And a foul against Oklahoma. I would be shocked if we end up going 65 minutes without a goal by either side. But if nobody tallies in the final 6 minutes, that's exactly what will have happened. That was nicely done by Hadley Morrell from behind to direct that one to Clifton. Head tennis and down to the foot of Matthijs. Matthijs able to find Woods. Attempted cross is blocked by Briscoe. Woods regains it. Philpott out of the pack, wrestling with Briscoe. Out off the Sooners. Morrell intercepts the inbound, though. Now Green trying to find Morrell, but a little out of her reach. Adley Morrell is a player that Matt Mott said has really found consistency for this Oklahoma team. Saw her win that ball a moment ago, which is not easy at this stage of the game.
If you're OU, it's just that final pass. I mean, Adley Morrell did all the hard work of just stealing that ball and going in. I think if she just could have kept it a little bit longer, causing Kentucky to kind of get out of position a little bit more, then playing it in, I think that's what they're looking for. They just have to focus on that last final pass, and that's the pass that's going to help them out.
Baybear trying to work that one across, and it's off of Ella Pappas, out of bounds. Goal kick here for Mars Josephson. We reached the 4-minute mark remaining. Remember, no overtime in collegiate soccer anymore until you get to the postseason. This game would end in a draw if nobody is able to find the back of the net in the final 4.
How much time?
Who can find a final push? And we had an Oklahoma foul on the back end of that. Fouls are all even now, 11 apiece. Alyssa Abramson taking the free kick. Boytink working on Pappas, and a corner kick for Kentucky with 3 minutes left. May not have many more opportunities such as this.
And you can see here, OU's got every player inside of the box. They know how pivotal this corner kick is. There's been some really good deliveries by Kentucky so far in this game. And so OU has got to stay marked. And for Kentucky, you just got to have that one moment.
About 30 seconds have come off the clock since the Wildcats lined up. This ball loose, free inside the 18 box. Truitt couldn't quite get there for Kentucky. It resets wide. Played for Kemp, but out of bounds. And Oklahoma back the other way with it. Kind of a short throw in that time. Ella Pappas out for Oklahoma. Here comes Green. Green played by Truitt. Green trying to drop it around Truitt, and Oklahoma will get a corner kick, I believe. Nope, was not touched by a Wildcat. And Green dropped to the turf with under 2 minutes left. One final substitution for Kentucky as they may play with one more attacker here. Talinda is out. We'll look again here at a play on.
Creative little touch there by Green, but I think the defender won the ball. I don't think there was no malintent or malicious intent there. I think she just can't happen. Green was not going to win that ball, so I think that's where there was the lack of the foul called right there, and that would have been a just tough one to give up in the last minute of this game.
Wildcats take a throw to the foot of Woods. Ella Pappas clears it to midfield for Oklahoma. Minute 15 remaining. If it remains 2-2, it will end in a draw. Each side will be awarded 1 point.
And if you're the Sooners here, your style actually is better suited in this, that you can kind of play a little bit more aggressive. And if you can just complete that final bit of passing, if that's what you can finish, then you're going to have a lot of success here.
Clifton sends it into the 18 box. Morrell circles back. Headed down, though, by Matthijs. 20 seconds left. Abramson's done a good job on the back row for Kentucky. She got that ball, and that might do it right there, as Morrell one final swipe with her left foot. Well, we had 4 goals in the first 26 minutes of this one. None in the final 66. And it's a 2-2 tie between the Sooners and Wildcats in their first ever soccer meeting.
And like we mentioned at the start,